attending this press conference for us today. It's really important that our media partners are here because you are the voice for us to reach more people than what we can do when we talk about any of our cold cases. And today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about a case that has been unsolved for over 50 years. And we really think that there are individuals that still know what happened that day. They may have information, and with your help, we may be able to get them to come forward. So I'm Sheriff Rosie Rivera with the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office. I am going to just give the quick opening. I'm going to turn the time over to Detective Ben Pender. He will talk about the case. And then I am going to turn the time over to Captain Fowler, who will talk about our commitment to this case. And then a family member of one of our victims will come up here and speak as well. I'll introduce him when that time comes. And then I also received a letter from one of the other family members, and I'm going to read portions of that letter as well to you, and we will provide the entire letter for you. And then we're just going to continue on, and if you can hold your questions till the end, we would appreciate it so we can get through this. And then we will be open to questions, and we will check with the family and see how they feel at the end of the press conference if they're willing to answer questions as well. So we appreciate you being here, and I'm going to turn the time over to Detective Ben Pender.
Thanks again for coming. We really appreciate it, and we're really looking for your help in the media to get this information out to the public again. It has been a long time. This case actually occurred just over 54 years ago. It occurred on it was a Thursday, September 2nd of 1971, and it occurred shortly after 2 o'clock in the afternoon at a market called Nader's Market, which was located at 3065 South 700 East. It was on the east side of the road there. And on that particular day, a lady by the name of Carolyn Kingston was going to relieve the cashier for lunch and take over for her while she was able to take off and leave for her lunch break. So Carolyn arrived, the other cashier had left, and shortly thereafter, a suspect entered the Nader's Market and what we believe to be a robbery. And while the suspect was there was another gentleman that showed up, and his name is Michael Bown. And Michael Bown actually worked for Continental Bread Company, and he was there to deliver bread and interrupted this robbery. Unfortunately, Michael Bown succumbed to his injuries. He was shot and killed there. Carolyn was then dragged to the back of the store into a back room. She had a 4-year-old son with her at the time who was present, and she ultimately was shot and actually survived for just over 2 years before she eventually succumbed to her injuries as well from that. The suspect was leaving Nader's Market, and as the suspect was leaving, another bread man showed up, and his name was William Bryant. He showed up, and as he was walking in, the suspect was walking towards the door to leave, and he was ordered to the ground, and he hears what he believes to be a couple of clicks. The gun did not fire, and the suspect then took off. However, our victim, meaning the other bread man that showed up, William Bryant, he was actually able to provide a very good description of the suspect just a couple of days after the fact. And he indicated that he didn't believe the person was of Hispanic, but he said, his quote was, he had a good tan on him, but he described him as about 5'7" to 5'8" in height, about 135 pounds. He said he was slender. He was wearing a dark-colored knit T-shirt and dark-colored pants, is what he described. And he said he had black curly hair. He referred to it as kinky hair at the time, and was very clean-shaven. So he indicated that he last seen the suspect run south after he exited Nader's Market. So he saw him go south, and that's where he lost sight. However, we also had another witness come forward shortly thereafter that was actually the last customer to be in the store before Carolyn had arrived. And he indicated that when he arrived at the Nader's Market that he observed a black 1959 Chevy Malibu 4-door, dark in color, possibly black, if not a very, very dark blue. He described it as being run down and ratty, maybe even didn't have hubcaps on the vehicle, but he indicated that the vehicle was backed in, the engine was running, and he did not see anybody inside that vehicle. It was actually parked on the south side of Nader's Market, facing west towards 700 East, and he provides that information regarding that. So today, one of the things that we want to put out there, this was actually put out just a few days after this incident occurred, was we believe there was some type of a struggle involving Carolyn and the suspect. And we are going to put or re-put out a Timex watch that is a unique watch, and we're hoping that once we put that information out or that photograph out, that it may jog somebody's memory of who may have owned one back then. And we're also going to, based on the information that Mr. Bryant gave us, as far as the suspect goes, we're also releasing a composite. So keep in mind, this is a composite. This is not an actual photograph, but it's a composite of the suspect that he described, and he assisted with an agent from the FBI and with our department at the time in putting this composite together. So we continue to investigate this. We continue to conduct a number of tests on the evidence. There was a number of items collected at the time. The only thing I would like to say is this, and this is actually for the person or persons that are responsible for this. And today I am pleading with you to come forward. I know from experience in these types of cases, they weigh very heavily on you. And today is the day to come forward. I know, again, from experience that this will lift a weight off your shoulders and give you at least a chance to provide an explanation and take responsibility for this. But I do promise you this, if you don't come forward, technology is changing. It is changing weekly out there, and we are not going to give up on this case, and we are going to see that this case gets resolved. And we would much rather you come forward and take responsibility for this now versus we have to track you down later. But we're not going to give up on this case. We've got a commitment from the sheriff and our administration, and we are, again, pleading for you to come forward and turn yourself in. Or if anybody has any information, please do the same. This has been a long time now, and we're hoping that people will come forward based on the image that we're going to release and the watch that we're re-releasing back into the public to get some information. And I'll turn the time over to Captain Fowler.
Thanks for being here today. I appreciate everybody coming, especially the family. I know how difficult this is for you. It's important the media is here. Keeping these cases in the media and highlighting them is important. We got to keep these cases and these memories alive. I'm Dustin Fowler. I'm the captain over the investigations division for the sheriff's office. As a family member and a brother to a victim who was a victim of a homicide that's been over 8 years that has not been solved, I feel your pain. What I don't understand, and I can't imagine, is going 50 years, over 50 years, and not having an answer. And it's unacceptable. I want to just reiterate to the family and to the public our commitment to solve this case. 50 years is way too long. We need to give this family justice. These families need some justice so they can have some answers. We are committed to solving this case. We will spare no resources. Like Detective Pender has said, technology is changing. It's drastically changing, and it is going to catch up to the suspect. We're hoping the suspect is out there and he hears this conference and does the right thing. I just want to ask the public, and anybody that may have been there, anybody that may have any information, no matter how slight that information is, please reach out. We want to hear from you. We want to talk to you. We want to know what you know. Please look at these composite sketch and the watch that we're releasing today. If anything jogs a memory, please reach out, no matter how slight you think it is. We want to talk to you. Again, thank you to the family for being here. I just want you to know our commitment to solving this case. Thank you.
Um, 54 years, 2 months, and 5 days have passed since my family's world was destroyed. Mike was our eldest brother and father figure. I was the last member of our family of 10 to see him alive. At 4:30 that morning, I peered through a cracked open bathroom door and watched him shave. And then before he was done and going to leave the bathroom, I hurried and snuck off back to my bedroom because I didn't want him to know that I was up that early, because he was always trying to be quiet when he was getting ready to go to work. So anyway, I dreamt that day of that afternoon maybe throwing the football with him. And so after school, I was waiting in the front yard, and my mom's car comes into the driveway. But it was really weird because she wasn't driving. She was sitting in the front passenger seat, and I remember her having a handkerchief up to her mouth, and she was sobbing. And her boss was driving the car. And when they got to the end of our driveway, we had a long driveway, he got out of the car and was helping her out and holding her. And I remember him telling me that he said Michael had been hurt. And then I heard my mom say something, but I couldn't understand all of it. But it didn't sound good. And I didn't want to believe it. And so the rest of that day, the week, the month, the years after that were devastating to our family. And I have relived that day countless times over the years in my mind. And I just always kept asking myself, why him? Why Mike? As he was so needed and so loved by all of us in the family. Thank you.
As I said before, the family of Carolyn Kingston also would like me to read this letter. I'm not going to read the whole letter, but I'm going to read portions of it, and then I'll supply the letter to the media. They wrote, more than 5 decades have passed since a tragic robbery and double shooting shattered a young family's life and left 2 little boys without their mother. Today, the family of Carolyn Kingston is renewing their plea for information to help identify and bring to justice the man responsible for her death. Carolyn didn't die immediately. She endured multiple surgeries trying to regain her life. Carolyn never did recover from the shooting and died 2 years later, leaving behind 2 young sons who have lived their entire lives waiting for answers and justice. Our mother was everything to us, said Jerry, one of Carolyn's sons. We were so young when she was taken, but we've never stopped thinking about her or hoping that someone somewhere knows something that could help us find the man who did this. Investigators believe that even after all these years, someone may still hold a vital piece of information, a memory, a name, or a detail that could help identify the killer. No piece of information is too small. If you have any information about this crime, please contact Detective Pender with the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office cold case at 385-468-9816. Your call could finally bring peace to a family that has been waiting for justice since 1971. I just want to say how important these cold cases are to the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office. Detective Ben Pender has been instrumental in solving many cases in the last several years. Each case is important to us. We know that behind each case there is a family that is hurting and waiting for justice. We are going to continue to do the work that we do and prioritize cold cases as long as I'm sheriff. And I know these two here that stand here with me today are very committed as well. So if anybody has any information, this sketch could play a big part in your recollection. And also, if you think about the vehicle that was involved, if you knew someone who drove that type of vehicle, 50 years is a long time, but there are still people with memories, as this family has talked about today. So we want to thank the media. We're opening it up to questions now, so if you'd like to ask some questions, we will get the media the correct names of who spoke and a copy of the letter. So is there any questions that I can take or refer to one of our detectives?
After all this time, you still think this was a random robbery, wrong place, wrong time?
I'll let Detective Pender talk about
And
that.
not targeted in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, not that we have evidence to believe at this point. So yes, at this point we do think it's random, but we're still investigating. We're still working other leads and things such as that. But at this point, we have no reason to believe that there's a connection to anything right yet.
And the composite, is that new? I don't remember.
Yeah, the composite has been out. However, we thought it was released when the watch was, but we can't verify that. So yeah, I think the composite. The victim did such a great job in providing information about it that it, like I said, I emphasize image or composite and sketch versus a photograph because it is so good that it does almost look as though it's a photograph.
So that would potentially put this person maybe in their 70s, likely still out there potentially?
Correct.
Detective Pender, with the watch, has there been any effort to do DNA or to trace a serial number on that?
Yes, we have, but I won't go into what we found with that. But yes, we have really dug deep into the watch. And what we do know from Timex is that the watch was produced right around in the 1970 era at some point. And we believe it was just sold publicly. We had information that maybe it was sold exclusively places, but according to Timex, that they said that's not the case.
No way to narrow it down to whether it was sold here or somewhere else?
No.
And just to clarify, that's the watch of potentially the suspect.
Correct.
Do we have a make, model, year on the weapon?
Yeah, so the victim provided information about the weapon as possibly a Ruger. However, we also believe that it was a revolver as well. And other than that, we don't. We don't have much more other than that. He really didn't. He indicated that the suspect did handle it with his right hand when he was holding the gun, but as far as other description, he indicated he thought it looked like some type of a Ruger.
Do we know the caliber of the weapon?
Yeah, 22 caliber.
Follow-up question on the composite. I think you mentioned something about the FBI. Was that something generated here by the sheriff's office or going outside?
Yeah, so we worked closely at the time. It was Captain Pete Hayward was the investigations commander at the time, and along with a couple of detectives, they included the FBI in this and brought somebody in to put together the composite based on the victim description, the surviving victim's description of the suspect.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Appreciate you covering this for us.
Watch that over here. So here's a composite of the, or a photograph, excuse me, of the watch, and we'll have that available for you as well, and a composite which is also up here on the board. But this will be available for you to photograph and.
Can we put them on the easels?
Yeah, whatever you
Absolutely. Can I move it so it's more than one?
Sure.
Let's go here, put it a little bit. This is perfect. If you can balance it somehow. Pictures of that.